Hi, my name is Kim Lapo, and I am the co-owner of Courser Lapo Clinical and Family Services, and we are based out of Kansas. And I am also the founder of Modern Practice Support, which is a virtual assistant business, and we provide support on the intake system side of a group practice to other mental health owners throughout the United States. And so I started working as a social worker back in 2008 and worked for a lot of agencies, and this kind of thing was not on my radar. But then in 2014, as many therapists do go through this process, I decided that it was time to go ahead and start a private practice. So my colleague and I opened up Courser Lapo Clinical and Family Services, and we started seeing clients. So that has been my focus up until about a year ago, when I had decided that our intake process was so sound and we could see issues that were occurring that it was time to open up a virtual assistant company, because we had lots of people asking us for that. So initially, my virtual assistant company started out as just people answering the phone and scheduling intakes. But what was happening is we were working with other practices, and we were saying, "Hey, we see in your intake system, you've got this loophole here. People are falling," and that's very typical. That's what we saw in our business as well. And so the problem that exists is that people who are searching for mental health services are often looking for services after hours. Most clinics or practices close sometime around 5 or 6, or when the phones are no longer manned. And after the parents get home and they're exhausted from dealing with kids' behaviors, they put the kids to bed and they're like, okay, I can't keep doing this. I've got to find help. Or they've had some kind of big fight about money or about relationship things or other situations, or they're just exhausted at the end of the day and they're fighting their own battles. That's the time when they get on the internet and they start to search mental health providers. So we find that a lot of our referrals come through Facebook marketing and through our Facebook group page. And the way that Facebook has it set up, you have a book now button, or you have like your direct messaging. And so if you have a book now button, it'll give you like a website you can enter in a URL, and it'll take you to, we can shift people to our website. But then our website, we have a form, and it's not HIPAA compliant, and that's super important for what we do. And so we feel like we lose clients in this process of trying to get people after hours into our potential client list. So what we have done is I have created a web forum creates pipeline deal through the Courser Lapo side of Keap. And we use Keap Pro because the pipeline's moving back and forth between pipelines and seeing where the new referrals are in the process of becoming scheduled. And then if we lose them, or if we want to do satisfaction surveys, it's such a great visual that people handling the phones can actually log in and go, oh, I've got 3 things to do today. Or maybe they take care of those 3 clients and they move them on to the next stage, and then 5 more end up there. It's so visual. It's exactly what we need. Most practice owners use things like Google Sheets, Google Forms, and then, those just scroll and scroll and scroll. So this is why this is such a great thing for other practices, because you're going to take something as simple as like a landing page, and we have this whole campaign then that will help the client move into a new stage and show up on this pipeline. So where I'm going to start off at is our landing page. And what we have to make sure we do is have something that's HIPAA compliant and something that's going to protect our client's information. So the client goes directly to this web page. When they click on the book now button, or they click on the messaging, we have previously determined answers to questions already decided, like do they want to submit a resume? Do they want to schedule a time to start their onboarding into our practice? There's lots of different things you can put in there for your questions, and then have predetermined answers. So for the purpose of this, it's how do I get scheduled? So instead of trying to capture any information through Facebook, what we're going to do is redirect them and enter the URL for the landing page. And that landing page, to make sure it gives us the information we need for our electronic health records, is going to be their first name, their last name, their birthday, email, and birthday, email, and phone number, so we can reach out to them and move them down the process. So they're going to fill that out, and then when they do that, they are going to get an uncontacted client lead. So this basically says, let me see if I can open this. Okay. Oh, this is actually going to move them and label them as uncontacted. Our assigned user is our intake coordinator at this time. Now, because of the purpose of the limitations on how many people we can have, I only have 2, myself and Brandon, but in application, this would be more people. We could actually add more people onto the account and make this so you can have anyone who you need to do. So it's very common for businesses and practices to have like an intake side. I call it the front end of a business, and the back end, which is billing, benefits verification, those kinds of things. So they go ahead and they get a new contacted they become a new uncontacted client lead. We're going to wait 1 minute and then run this on a weekday, and then we're going to have a new contact email. And so this email is basically going to say, why is this not working? There we go. Thank you, first name and last name, for reaching out to Corso Lapo Clinical and Family Services. As you can see, I've used our logo. We currently provide telehealth and office-based appointments at this time. That is a huge question because of COVID. People want to know if they can stay telehealth and do this from afar, or if they can come in. Some people absolutely want to come in. They'll wear the mask. They'll follow all the precautions that we have policies for. And others are like, nope, forget it. I'm not coming in. I'm not comfortable. I just want telehealth. So if you want to schedule a time for our intake coordinator to contact you, then you're going to click this button. And what that's going to do, and I love this for Keap Pro, is that it's going to actually pull up our intake coordinator's schedule, and then it's going to let them schedule a time. That is the ideal way to schedule someone, because we don't have to play phone tag. They put their time on our schedule that it works for us to call them back, and then our intake coordinator calls them. They know that they need to have their insurance card and information available for the call. That's the biggest hang up. We have more return phone calls because clients don't have that information with them. And that slows down the intake process. And we want to get people scheduled very, very timely. We want them scheduled within a day. They may not be able to come in until a week later. They might not have an appointment until the following week, but we want them to be done with the scheduling process within the day. So if they choose not to do that, that's fine. Our intake coordinator is going to give them a call, and we're going to reach out to them so they know that we're calling them. Then we have a new contact email. I'm sorry, that's what we did. Then we're going to wait at least 30 minutes, and we're going to run this on a weekday between 9 and 5, because our phones open up at 9 and they close at 5 for the day. And then this is going to create a task, and this is going to remind our intake coordinator to call the client. And it says where we're calling, like their first name and their phone number, so he can go ahead and reach out and call. This is due by 5 p.m. And so it's going to give us a reminder at 4 o'clock. He's going to get all the reminders of any of these tasks that aren't completed. So then we're going to apply a tag. We're going to apply a tag to this client, and it's going to be a new lead because we haven't made contact with this one person yet, right? This one starts here. So this is our email. We hope we can reach out to them. So let's say that, let's say they go ahead and decide to choose to schedule an appointment with us. So they're going to come here, they're going to schedule an appointment, and then they're going to get a reminder to call the client on the calendar. We have to make sure that if they schedule at 1:45 on Tuesday, we call at 1:45 on Tuesday. So that's what this is. And then we'll do the phone intake form. And that phone intake form is the same whether we talk to them and make a phone call or whether we use the calendar to help us make that phone call. That's the key to getting the information that we need. We need to know whether it's a child or an adult, whether the child's in foster care, whether the child has a custody agreement between the parents if they're divorced. We need to know all those details. And then in addition to that, we need to know who has the insurance, who's the insurance subscriber, what's that address, the policy number. Do they have secondary? Even sometimes do they have a third insurance payer? All that information is captured on our client phone intake form. And then between that, then we move them in the pipeline stage. So right now they started out as uncontacted, and then we're going to move them over to contacted. And this one right here, once we have this information, it's going to move them into where we need to be ready to send the information over to our billing department, who is then going to contact them and verify the benefits and send them an email. So that's in a whole nother campaign piece, but this is the front end, the first half of this. This is what gets us our information so that we can send them our intake documentation, add them to our phone system. We can start connecting them to our practice and begin that buy-in. So this is a very simple campaign to adjust if needed for other potential customers, someone who would want to purchase the campaign or have us help build this. There's just some things that maybe need to change, like who do these things get notified? Maybe we need to do a round robin. There's lots of different things. So this is our pipeline deal, and we are good to go. So I'll be back with the next one. Thanks. Oh, I also want to show that I had popped into some of these, and so it showed that it was not published, but I clicked the publish button and it is published. Now, once we've moved our clients into our pipeline and we have made contact with them and we've completed that phone intake, then what we're going to do is move them into our benefits verification column. So what we're going to do is create a pipeline that's stage moved. So this one in particular is moving into insurance verification. So once they moved out into contacted and they leave contacted and they come into insurance verification, that starts this process. So from there, then I have an untitled sequence. I don't really want to spend a lot of time. We're just going to check insurance benefits. Here's again another notification. It's an email, and it sends it over to the gal who does this piece in our billing department. So remember, the ones who are answering the phone are taking this information, and then they're going to turn it over to the specialty of my team who knows how benefits work. So this lets her know that we have new insurance waiting to be checked, and it's the contact's first name and last name. And then this is essential. And so again, notify the users. And typically it would not be the same person. I would have another person, and then just it would be Bev who would be the one who would do this, and Brandon would be the backup. So, but for the purpose of what we're doing today, I'm using Brandon. Change this to contact. Okay, so then what they're going to do afterwards, she is going to then open up this smart form. And this one right here basically just tells me which smartphone form we're using. It's the insurance benefit verification form. And so this is the form that she gets all the information off our phone intake, right? It's already loaded up into the client's fields. And so she's going to pull out the insurance, the subscriber information, the policy number, any of those kinds of things that we need. And then she's going to go into the insurance websites and she's going to check for benefits. So what she's looking for here is what's a deductible, how much have they met, or what's remaining of that deductible, and if they're a copay or co-insurance. And then from there, afterwards, she is going to enter that information into this form, right? This insurance benefit verification form. And then that is going to create an email that is sent out to the client that gives them that information, along with a disclaimer that we are not held responsible if there are any changes in the insurance, because between now and the time that they open that email or they come to use their insurance, they may encounter changes in what their insurance is paid or such. Especially during COVID, we had a lot of payers who, in some insurance companies that are payers, who were waiving copays and doing cost sharing, which they typically don't do, which impacted their deductibles. So we have that little disclaimer on there so that they know that this is just a snapshot of their insurance, and then they are responsible for their payment when they come into services. So, in a nutshell, these are the two most important systems that we have in these campaigns set up to get people into our clinic, and then once we have them here, to let them know about their insurance. That's where we will also lose people. We can get them in once we can get them in and get them into our system. We've got them for a while, but if we don't help them understand what their insurance obligation is going to be or what their payment obligation is going to be, people will then say, yeah, I can't afford this right now. So we really want them to be able to understand what they're looking at spending to come to mental health counseling. So these are just two different campaigns available. There's several others that I've been working on, and I know that this would help so many other practices around the United States solve this problem just like it's solving a problem for us. So again, my name is Kim Lapo, and I'm the co-owner of Corsair Lapo Inc., it's doing business as Corsair Lapo Clinical and Family Services, and I am the founder of Modern Practice Support. We're a VA company specializing in helping mental health practices convert callers into clients. Thank you for taking time to look at my capstone.